Hey guys, welcome back to another vocabulary lesson. And today we're going to be looking at intermediate differential, intermediate diff, or PSA. Now when we're comparing a symmetrical ball to an asymmetrical ball, we're actually looking at the amount of asymmetry in the core. Now as you imagine, symmetrical balls have very little asymmetry, usually 0.00 up to 0.007. Once you go above that, 0.008, you become asymmetrical. Now you'll also know if you have an asymmetrical ball if you look at the cover of it, and besides having a pin on the top and a CG, center of gravity marker, you'll see another marker roughly 6 3/4 inches away from the pin through the CG, and it'll be marked with a small dot or logo. Now, intermediate differential in bowling refers to a measurement used to describe how much the bowling ball's core shape influences the hooking motion during your specific throw. Now, it relates to the difference in the ball's RG, or radius of gyration values, along different axes of the ball, particularly in asymmetric, non-symmetrical bowling balls. Now, let's relate this back to what we've covered before. Now we know that RG, or radius of gyration, is the measurement of how the weight is distributed inside the ball. And we know that differential refers to the difference between the highest and lowest RG values of that core. Well, intermediate differential is the specific measurement of the difference in asymmetry of the ball's core. So it takes into account the differences between the RG values along the ball's intermediate axis, which is not aligned with the ball's vertical or horizontal axis. This value helps determine how much the ball's motion is going to change as it moves down lane, especially in terms of hook and overall reaction. Now, why does this matter? Well, a higher intermediate differential generally means the ball will have a stronger, more dynamic hooking motion, especially as it nears the pocket. And a lower intermediate differential means that the ball will have a more controlled, less aggressive hook. To put it another way, the intermediate differential tells you the speed at which the ball can potentially hook or curve as it goes down the lane, based on the shape and design of the ball's core. That means balls with higher intermediate differential will tend to hook more dramatically, have a shorter hook zone, and will be a lot more dramatic. Balls with lower intermediate differential will tend to hook less dramatically, be smoother, and have a much longer hook zone. That's why symmetrical balls seem to hook forever, while asymmetrical balls seem to go down and kind of snap. Now this has nothing to do with cover stock characteristics. We're just talking about the dynamics of the core. This is why we suggest bowlers select balls based on their play styles. Players who want more hook or stronger reaction may choose a ball with a higher intermediate differential, while those who want a smoother, more controlled roll might choose one with a lower value. Think of it this way. Lower speed, rev-dominant players will tend to shy away from higher intermediate differential pieces because they'll want to change direction too quickly. We usually match up rev-dominant players with more symmetrical pieces or use layouts that put the core in the most symmetrical position. That's why we see some short pins for our senior players. Conversely, for high-speed and rev-challenge players, we tend to shy away from those low intermediate differential and symmetrical balls because they just don't change direction quickly enough and don't allow those types of players to get enough hook down lane. Even the layout choices we use for these players will put the core in the most asymmetrical position. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.